Okay, welcome to the Tax Problem Solver. Our number is 877-257-1040. Our email address is ckm@taxproblemsolve.com. You can call us or email us 24 hours a day. Someone is there to take your call. Our website is taxproblemsolve.com. On that website, you'll find podcasts, newsletters, radio shows, about 25 or 30 special reports. All you got to do is log in. You'll find frequently asked questions and links to contact us directly if you forget our email or phone number. So today now what we're going to talk about payroll tax issues and how companies or employers get into problems and how we can help them get out. So there's many reasons why a business might get into trouble with their taxes. The two biggest ones are usually sales tax and payroll tax. Sales tax, you're an agent for the government, for the state. Whether you like it or not, you're required to collect taxes if the product or services that you sell is taxable. We sell accounting and tax services. We're in New Jersey. They're not taxable. There may be some states where they are. I do not know. But if you are a retailer, you're collecting sales tax and you got to pay it to the state. Now, that's a trust fund money. If you do not pay it, the state could come after you personally to collect that money from your personal assets. Now, payroll taxes are a different situation. Payroll taxes for your employees, again, by law, you're required to withhold Social Security, Medicare, federal income tax, state income tax if you're in one of the 46 states that have an income tax, and unemployment if you're in one of those few states where the employer is required to withhold unemployment from the employee's account or from the employee's payroll and then pay it over with a match. In addition to the Medicare and Social Security tax withheld, the employer has to match that. So there's a lot of moving parts here to come up with a payroll tax deposit. Why anybody would do their own payroll and payroll tax returns, I don't know. We have a separate payroll company, Kenlin Payroll Services, LLC, that you can call at 877-256-1750, and we can do your payroll for you every pay period, file all your payroll tax returns for you, make your payments for you, using your money, obviously, not ours, to make sure that you don't have late filing and late payment problems. In fact, that's the reason that we started the payroll company, or one of the reasons. One reason is to have a profit center and make some money. The other is we had a lot of people coming to us, businesses, that were not filing payroll tax returns because simply they just didn't know how to do it. And they were doing their work themselves. Now, maybe they're using QuickBooks and doing their own tax return or taking their business return to one of the storefronts and didn't know how to make their payments, didn't know how to calculate them, and they just didn't pay or file. So they've come to us with their problems. We've taken care of that. We now do their payroll for them. Returns are filed on time. Payments are made on time. Everybody's happy. We're making money. They're not paying penalties and interest. So the penalties for not filing a payroll tax return is 5% a month for the amount of the unpaid tax due with the return. So if you're a decent sized employer and you are $50,000 a quarter in payroll taxes, 5% of that is $2,500. Now, if you don't file that tax return, now the payroll tax returns are due April, July, September, and January for the prior 3 months. So if you don't file that March return, and April is 5%, May is 10, June 15, July is 20, August is 25. So if you owe $50,000 and you don't file it until August, that's another $12,500 due, plus interest. So you're looking at $62,500 plus interest. You're looking at over $65,000, $68,000 on $50,000 that you didn't pay. Now, we have many clients have said to us in the past years, how does the government expect a small business like me to stay in business paying all these payroll taxes? I can't afford to pay all these payroll taxes. Well, the simple answer is very little of what was due is your money. Like I said, you're required to withhold federal income tax, Social Security, and Medicare, and match the Social Security and the Medicare. So the only portion that's yours is Social Security and Medicare. The rest belongs to the employee. Well, my payroll is $8,000 a week, and with this, it's now $12,000. I can't afford $12,000 a week payroll. Well, your payroll is not $8,000 a week. Your payroll is probably $11,000, and that other $1,000 to bring it up to $12,000 is your matching Social Security and Medicare. And if you can't be in business, if you can't pay $11,000 a week, forgetting the matching taxes, even if you didn't have to match the Social Security and Medicare, your payroll is $11,000, not $8,000. You have a problem in your business that you're either not charging enough, or you're spending too much where you shouldn't be, or you're taking too much out yourself. So there's something wrong that's keeping you from making that gross payroll. So you can't blame the government for taking all of your money. Most of that money is not yours to begin with. So, and that's how companies get in trouble with their payroll taxes. So what they don't pay them when they're due. They're due every pay period. In our payroll company, we have our clients pay their payroll taxes every pay period. They may not have to pay them until monthly, but isn't it easier to write a check for $750 every week instead of $3,000 once a month? You get rid of that money. Again, most of it is not your money. So get rid of it quick in small increments on time, and you don't have late payments. And you don't run into all of a sudden that you wound up taking that $750 every week and spending it on something. If you're in a retail store, you bought a new cash register, you bought new inventory. If you're a contractor, you bought a new piece of equipment. If you're a professional, you bought a new computer or something. Well, you're using somebody else's money, and you can't do that unless you have it to pay. So these monies are called trust fund monies because you're holding them in trust for the government. And that's payroll taxes, and like I said earlier, sales taxes. So if they're not paid, the IRS will investigate to determine who's the responsible party. Now, backing up a little bit, I get questioned, how long can I go before I have to pay this sales tax or these payroll taxes? How long can I go? Well, if you don't file the returns, the state or the IRS eventually will contact you because they're used to getting a return from you, sales tax return every quarter, payment every month, payroll tax returns, payments every week, return every 3 months. After a few of those cycles, they're going to write to you and say, "Dear Mr. Business Owner, we have not received your Form 941, which is the federal payroll tax return for the quarter ending March 31st. You'll get another letter, "We have not received June 30th. And another letter, "We have not received September 30th. You're not going to get one letter, you'll get 3. And you have to deal with it. So that's about how long you can go before the IRS knows that you haven't filed. But if you didn't file, remember what I said, 5% a month penalty up to 25% of the unpaid tax. So now you have 3 quarters, $50,000 each quarter. You add all the penalties, and that $50,000 each quarter, $150 of tax, now with penalties and interest, could wind up being $200,000. Now you got a $50,000 problem that you wouldn't have had if you just filed the return on time and dealt with the IRS collection people right away. And we do that all the time. We deal with the IRS collection people. We all hate it when we come into the office or we come home and we're not told that there's a problem. And you find out about the problem 3 days later. Well, why didn't you tell me initially? My wife says, "Well, you're going to get angry." Well, maybe I will, but not as mad as I am when I don't know about it for a week, that something's not working. Why didn't you tell me a week ago the washer's not working? Well, it's not going to fix itself. But I probably do the same thing with her. Same thing in our office. Don't tell me something. Well, I'm going to find out, so just tell me. Yeah, maybe I'll get a little ticked off right then, but not as ticked off as I'll be if I didn't know about it for 3 or 4 days, and somebody tries to take care of it themselves and it snowballs, and now it's a big problem. So let's just nip it in the bud and deal with it right away. And that's everything, but especially the tax situations for not filing. So what will happen is the IRS eventually will conduct an interview, and they'll determine who the responsible party is. And that's the person that the IRS will try to collect from if they can't collect from the business. And they'll go after their personal assets, and that's never any fun. So if you have any of these issues, call the Tax Problem Solver at 877-257-1040 or email me at ckm@taxproblemsolve.com. Thank you.